Who's behind this? A disgruntled former employee.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2024 action film Hounds of War. The film is directed by Isaac Florentine and it stars Frank Grillo, Robert Patrick and Rona Mitra. Right, the film focuses on Grillo's character, who is a retired ex-mercenary who is brought back out of retirement by his brother, who has got a job that he needs. He's got a wife who's pregnant. This is Grillo's brother. And he really needs this job. So he agrees to come back out of retirement to help him. And they are working for Robert Patrick's character, Colonel Hart. Grillo doesn't trust him, but he believes this operation's real and it will kind of get everyone the funds that they need. They head over to take out this terrorist, but it turns out to be a trap. All of Grillo's team are killed, and Grillo then vows revenge against Robert Patrick's villainous betrayal. Right, what are my thoughts on Hounds of War? Well, on the very surface of this, what we have here is a very quite generic action film with a very generic and familiar plot. Soldiers getting betrayed by the, top brass back home is nothing new. It's not an original storyline. We've seen it before. We'll see it again. The film doesn't try to overcomplicate things, I suppose, is the best compliment I can give the plot. It's not a difficult film to follow. Sometimes these type of movies, especially some of the lower budgeted like action films, and this has obviously got a good budget associated to it, but it's not like a micro budgeted like action film. Sometimes you'll see them really low budget action films that'll have, a recognized face on the sleeve who's only in the film for like 10 or 15 minutes, sometimes less. And they overcomplicate the plots and the stories to kind of, confuse you maybe. I don't really know why they do it, but this has got a very, very simple plot to follow. It's a revenge plot, essentially. It's very nicely put together by, obviously, a very skilled, if you like, director in this genre. Now, if you actually look at his filmography, the director, Isaac Florentine, he has directed films, quite a few Scott Adkins films, two of the Undisputed films, some Van Damme films. So he's got quite a decent resume for films like this, and that is very evident from the action that you see here. It's executed with real confidence by the director and the crew. It all feels pretty impactful. The war scenarios, the performances are all very, very strong. It's all a very tight production, and it doesn't ever feel cheap. There's never any performances that make you question what you're watching or anything like that. It's just too unoriginal and too familiar, certainly for my liking. Now, Frank Grillo. I've been saying this for years, that he needs to be, if you like, fronting his own action films, being his own action star. For me, too often, he turns up as like a supporting character in really bad films. And I'm pleased to see that he's actually kind of being the lead for the most part now in these type of movies. I think sometimes his film choices are poor, Frank Grillo, but he makes a very, very good action lead. I've thought this for a long, long time. And he's now, if you like, finally getting his chance, I suppose, and he is churning out some pretty decent stuff from time to time. And this is certainly really quite watchable. It's got three compelling leads. You've got Frank Grillo doing all the physical stuff. You've got Robert Patrick doing the classic villainous stuff. I mean, it's almost a meme now, Robert Patrick being a villain. And it's basically the same villain he plays in Reacher Season 2 and probably most other villainous roles you've seen him do over the last couple of decades. It's predictable having Robert Patrick play the villain, but there's no denying that he does it well here. And we've got Rona Mitra as well, who plays an ex-love interest of Frank Grillo, who thought he was dead, he goes to for help when the shit hits the fan and loses his team. And the plan they put together is ambitious, to say the least, because the film starts off with an assassination attempt on the President of the United States. And the assassination attempt is by Frank Grillo's character. And it kind of starts with that, and it's like, wow, a big opening. And then it kind of then flashes back and kind of gives you the history of where we got to that point. And the reason he's after this American president is this American president has kind of been traveling the world saying that he wants to do things differently. He wants vaccines, not bullets. And his administration will no longer like be strong arm in the world. They want to, if you like, put a big arm around the world and give it a big cuddle by the sounds of it. However, there are people in his administration, i.e. Robert Patrick and others, that aren't really listening to him. So it's up to Frank Grillo, if you like, to make them listen with his revenge plot. So, I mean, what we've got here is essentially a well-made, and it is a well-made action film with some good action set pieces within it. The biggest thing that absolutely lets this down is the tired and predictable storyline and the plot. Some fairly dull dialogue and some predictable plot lines, I suppose. But everything else kind of packaging that is very watchable. And I've always kind of said, you can forgive a film for some of its flaws if the positives are positive enough, if you like. And I do think they are pretty positive here. I think the strong parts of the film, the action, the set pieces, the direction's strong, the cast is tight, and it makes for a really quite watchable action film overall. It's not going to win any awards. You're not going to finish it and think, wow, I want to watch that again. That was really, really good. But you also, I don't think, will watch this and think, well, that was a massive waste of my time, because, there are some decent moments in it here and there. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please click the like button. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. And I will, of course, be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.